and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I would like to share with you my top 5 tips for increasing productivity and getting things done without losing your balance. My first top tip is to keep and write down your to-do lists. It is such a simple yet very powerful technique that you'll be surprised how many people don't actually do it. All you need to do is to write down your tasks for today, for perhaps this whole week or this entire month. It doesn't matter how big or small the tasks might be. It could be something relating to your hobby, it could be something relating to your health, your well-being, or your projects or the work that you're doing. It could also be relating to your social life. Everything that you have to do that you can think of, sit down with yourself, with your journal, with your diary, just write them down. There are multiple benefits of doing this. For one, it helps you prioritize your tasks because not everything is important and not everything is urgent. It helps you sleep at night because you already have written down your tasks for the next day, so your brain doesn't have to worry about that. You can focus on the present, focus on getting a good night's sleep instead of worrying about what you've got to do the next day, if that makes sense. The next benefit of having a to-do list is so that you can have all your tasks in front of you and put them into different baskets by applying the 4D techniques. The first D is to simply do it. This applies to tasks that will only take, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes and that are quite important. For example, a reply to a potential client that will only take 5 minutes, so you can respond to it straight away. These are the type of tasks that you can put in your first basket, which is do it. The second basket is simply to delete it. There are potentially tasks that relate to an old or obsolete projects that can simply be deleted. Perhaps you wrote them down 2 weeks ago and they are now not relevant anymore. Or there are emails that are simply trying to sell you things that you don't need. So in terms of this type of tasks and actions, you can simply delete it. The third basket is to simply defer it. Or delay it. There are certain tasks that require more than just 5 minutes. Sometimes you need time to plan. It could take days or even weeks to do certain things, and those are the things that you need to schedule a time in your calendar, which links to my second top tip, which I will cover in a bit. The fourth basket is my favorite, is to simply delegate it. So for example, if you are running a business, you can outsource marketing, for example, or PR. There are certain things that you can simply outsource to other members of your team or your power team. You don't have to do them yourself. But without sitting down, review your to-do list, it's very tempting to just do it yourself. And it doesn't matter where you keep your to-do list. You could write them down on a piece of paper or in your journal, in your diary, or you could use a software to track it. I personally use a combination of a software on my phone as well as my hard copy, which is my journal here. The idea is that I have my to-do list here, which are roughly synced to my priority items in my journal so that I can review my to-do on the go. So really it doesn't matter which form you keep your to-do list in. The important bit is to write them down. Ideally, your to-do list should be aligned to your goals that you set for yourself, and your goals then will be aligned hopefully to your value system. In fact, a few weeks ago I made a video about how to set goals that are aligned to your value system, and then how to design action points that are supporting your goals. I will put a link in the description box down below or a link up here. Please do check it out if you're interested. My second top tip is to use your calendar effectively. Your calendar is your life, essentially. I know it sounds dramatic, but if you think about it, your calendar is your timeline. It dictates how you spend your time. So if your calendar is full of events and meetings and phone calls and emails and tasks that are not in your control, then you run the risk of being controlled and managed by other people or other events. right? And if you don't have a calendar to begin with in the first place, then you run the risk of living someone else's life. So having a calendar and manage it effectively can have a direct impact on the quality of life you have. Let's look at exactly how to manage our calendars more effectively. The first thing to do, ironically, is to block time in your calendar to review your calendar every morning or at night before you go to bed. The idea is that you don't want the other irrelevant or less important task to block your time on your timeline. I tend to do it on a daily basis in the morning first thing. I find if I don't do that in the morning, I tend to react to the phone calls that come in, the emails that come in, and I lose sight and lose focus of what's important, and my day could then turn out to be a total mess. So one change that I implemented recently that has been working for me is to put an entry in my calendar in the morning where I have no distraction, and the only purpose is to review the calendar and make sure I'm prioritizing the tasks correctly. Every block of time needs to serve a purpose, needs to be linked to the goals or projects or important things that you're working on. Essentially, every minute needs to have a purpose. And this will inevitably help you become more aware of how you spend your time and therefore how you have spent your life. And this also helps you hold yourself more accountable. My third top tip is to meditate. Meditate for better focus. It's so easy to dive into your daily to-do list and weekly to-do lists and lose sight of what's important and lose your clarity. And sometimes you can be thrown into a difficult situation, whether business related or social life related or your other hobbies and commitments. Everything can go wrong, and in those moments it's easy to get stressed out and it's easy to get anxious and angry and lose your balance. And when that happens, the best way I find is to take a deep breath and meditate. It really works in terms of emotional management, calming down the mind and increasing the focus. I haven't really spent a huge amount of time studying this topic of meditation, and I don't know exactly why it works. I just know from experience that it works, and if it works, it's good enough for me for now, and that's the pragmatic me talking. My fourth top tip is to set alarm clocks to remind yourself to eat, to drink and to exercise. I know it sounds really silly, but it's so easy to get carried away when you are in the flow of things, when you are so carried away in doing a specific tasks that you forget about your physical needs, such as eating and drinking. And this has happened to me so many times. So the quick fix that I found is to simply set alarm clock like half an hour before you have to do certain things. So if I have a yoga class at 5:30, I set myself an alarm at 5 so that I have half an hour to get ready, to get into the zone of things, get changed and get the water. It's such a simple technique, but it's very, very powerful because it really helps you get things done. And it does mean that it's usually a bad idea to have back-to-back meetings, because you simply don't have time to adjust yourself and to switch your mind and look after yourself and get into the right zone of things. So you end up getting carried away, just doing things for the sake of doing things, and you tend to lose the big picture as well. So definitely try to avoid scheduling back-to-back meetings. Number 5, exercise regularly and connect to your body and your mind. It is scientifically proven that exercising regularly can improve your productivity, your focus and your physical health. It's almost the common sense, but I thought I would include this one in my top 5 tips anyway, because it is so easy to lose sight of this point when you are very busy with your commitments, your projects and your other to-do lists. So this really is linked to my second tip, which is about calendar management. All you need to do is to schedule a time for yourself to do something that you love, you enjoy, whether it's exercise or activities that you love doing. It could be cooking, could be long walks on the beach, watching Netflix even, anything that relaxes your physical body and relaxes your mind. You know your body best, you know your mind best, so yeah, show yourself some love and block that time in your calendar. So that's my 5 top tips for increasing productivity without losing balance. What are yours? If you have some tips you would like to share, please do leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. On that note, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Ciao!